Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Welcome if you're new. I'm Stacy and today we're going to be painting the May Grabie watercolor calendars. This one I'm painting strictly with watercolor and going in at the end with some bleed proof white. This is a voiceover. I have sped this up about 50%, mostly because I have a cold now, and I don't know that I'm going to be able to talk continuously for 35 minutes. So maybe 23 will do. Going in with just water on the bird first. It's just a little cutie pie. Don't really have a reference photo up. I sketched him out a while ago and I couldn't find the reference photo to save my life. So we're just going in. We're just going to do it. We're going to play around. I'm going to drop in some yellow first. I'm using my M-Gram palette, the same one I've been using for the last several pieces. Going in with Azo yellow first, and then dropping in some cobalt green right in there, wet into wet. Let it bleed around a little bit. And just want this to be a quick little piece. Using my Grabie Quill paint brushes. This one I believe is the number 6. Are you the number 6? Let's grab them out. They're still wet because I just got done doing this painting. I'm trying really hard not to cough. I apologize if I do in advance. This is the number 4, and I also used the smaller one is the number 1. Relatively speaking, as stated in previous pieces that I've used these with, you can use whatever brushes you want that are comparative in size or that you're comfortable with. For a long time, I used a Princeton Neptune round number 8 or 6 or 8. And 8, and then an 18 was my wash brush. I still have them. I just am really enjoying these quill brushes. I hope that everyone's doing well. I'm alright. I watched the kids. They were sick. Just getting over a cold. Most of them were all well, but the baby, I'm guessing, was still contagious because the day after I came home, I started feeling icky. Can't help but snuggle the kids, though, right? The babies. And she was she's just too cute. So I paid the Nana price. I'm dropping in more pure color right now. Trying to get little fluffy feather textures. From what I can recall of the reference photo for this drawing, he was looking pretty straight ahead and all poofed up, like they fluff up when they're happy. I think birds are cute and very fun to draw and paint. But speaking from experience, I do not want one as a pet. A little too much responsibility for me. Plus, I mean, I'll stop there. I'm just going for feather feeling right now, sweeping in some color and some shape, trying not to color in too much over the actual calendar. Because I actually do look at it throughout the month. I found that I glance at this calendar quite a lot. It's on my desk. It's either on my desk over here or on the bar over there. Currently, it's on the bar over there, but I can still see it from where I sit. Got a little wet into wet drippiness going on. I'm going to dry this with the heat tool shortly. Yeah, here I go. It takes a hot minute to dry it with the heat tool. It does flatten right back out though, pretty much. Doesn't take long to dry with the heat tool. Even if it's a little puddly. I could have blotted up the puddles. Oh my goodness. There's a yawn for you. But I didn't find them to be troublesome, so. And the heat tool I got on Amazon for I think $11 or $12 years ago. It's probably 15 by now. But they're fairly inexpensive, and I use it almost every time I paint. So it is a handy little tool. And if it does bow a bit, you can dry the back as well. I was trying to get it to flatten out. That didn't quite work, so I'm going to roll it a little bit where I see that it's bubbling to try and flatten it a little more. I'm going to go in with a little wet on dry and some dry brushing techniques to get those beautiful feather textures now that it's all dry. First, though, I'm going to drop in a background. I was going to go with like leaves and like that kind of background and change my mind. I wanted something colorful to contrast with the greens and yellows of the bird. So I'm going in with ultramarine, and then the other color that I throw in here is quinacridone violet. I just like the mix. Ultramarine's a naturally granulating color, so when you mix it with other colors, it will they will granulate a bit as well, which is nice. And the quins are just really nice colors. The quinacridone colors with the M-gram are very nice. I'm very drawn to them. I got the set a while ago, quite a while ago. They're much more expensive now than they were when I bought them. I think I bought them each for $45 or $50, depending on the set. The Quinn colors are a little more pricey than the rest of the colors. But, yeah. Very nice to have in the palette. And if you mix the ultramarine with the Quinn violet, you get these beautiful purpley colors. And I'm kind of digging how it looks behind him, and when it dries lighter, so it'll be like a soft glow behind him, him, the bird, the cute bird. I spun the palette around so that you can see what I'm mixing. I'm just using leftover mud on the palette, which is usually, in this corner, is usually my neutral tint, indigo, and dioxazine purple mixed together to get my black that I like to use for, instead of one of those colors alone. I like them all mixed together. I feel like I get a really nice, rich black when I do that. And I will mix just indigo or just dioxazine with the neutral tint as well to get black, or mix just the purple with the blue to get that deeper dark black. It's just a preference of mine for a night sky or eyes, or wherever I need a black. Instead of using neutral tint, which is a nice color, it does lean a little bit purpley to me, but it's very flat in comparison to this color that I like better. Sorry if my voice is too soft. I am sick and I'm trying not to cough, so I'm trying to talk a little gently and not aggravate my chest into a cough. I just did nasal spray. Have any of you tried it? My daughter hooked me onto the Vicks nasal spray when the last time I had a cold at her house. About a year and a half, 2 years ago now. And I actually have to put it away, like in the medicine cabinet, because I like it. I like breathing through my nose, clearly. And I was using it too much. You're not supposed to. But I went ahead and got the store brand, the Kroger brand this time. And it doesn't hurt as much as the Vicks one does. This one's more gentle, but it still opens up those passageways. If you have a head cold, I recommend it. You can only use it once every 10 to 12 hours, but it really does help a lot with the drainage and keeping things going so you can actually breathe out of your face. Not feel quite so miserable. I'm using the black mixture as well to go in and get the details in the beak and kind of make it pop. Going off of memory, not really. I do love drawing beaks. Some beaks are varied especially with parrots and parakeets that I've noticed just recently looking at many different pictures to try and find the reference photo for this guy, which I did not find. The beaks are a lot, like the colorings in the birds are very, very varied. Say that 10 times fast. But the beaks as well. Some are dark blacks. Some have lots of textures and ridges, and some have lots of like whitish kind of streak through, like it's flaking like a fingernail kind of thing. And some have lots of light color, like they're light peaches and creams and yellows. Excuse me. So I'm just kind of rolling with it at this point and painting it the way I want to. I actually have out my new little teensy Master's Touch. I think these are, these are Royal and Lang Nickel, my bad. Royal and Lang Nickel round 5/8. Yeah, I got some fine liners, some tiny brushes for details. Because I'm tired of struggling to use just the tip of watercolor brush to get these fine details, especially around eyes or thin lines around beaks and things like that, when I want a super thin line. So yeah, that's what this is. I bought a set of smaller brushes last time I was at the Hobby Lobby. I'll go in with some dark green and see if I can get in that feather texture, that fluffy feather texture. Using this fine liner, I soon discover that it is too small, too teensy, and I change out for my wedge brush, which is a really nice brush. I actually made a mess of it. There's a little fuzzies on it. Oh, that's disappointing. Why are you weird? Maybe I'll let Astrid use it. I'm gonna have to get another one. Nuts. Wet it and see if it'll get back into shape a little bit. At any rate, this is a favorite brush for feathers and pine trees and things like that. I'd like a set of these, actually. It is a Tri Wedge number 8. It is a Sketchbox signature exclusive brush, one of the art boxes. And it is one of my favorite specialty, I guess, brushes that I own. And I decided to try and use that to get the feather textures, and I think it works pretty well. It works pretty well. I'm just dabbing in with the green and mixing the green and the yellow together on the brush and just kind of dabbing to get that variegated color. Well, it's pretty effective, right? For a quick feather texture. I recommend this brush. It's fun. I'm going to go in with some pure color as well on top, just straight out of the pan. Graham colors are honey based, so they stay kind of sticky. You don't really have to spritz them, and they re-wet like immediately, and you get lots and lots of pigment with almost no water. So if you have a really dry brush and you tap it, and on the paint, you can get quite a lot of pigment for like a dry brushing technique, which is kind of what I'm trying to do right here. Minimal water. I'm just kind of brushing it over his little feathers to get that soft feather, that soft floofy look. I would normally turn the paper. I'm trying not to do that, but then my hand's in the way. Doing the same thing on this side, but pointing the brush down and, holding it differently to get that effect. Sort of the same effect on the others as I had on the other side. I'm trying to remember not to cover up all my bright yellow too, because I really like the brightness around his beak and face. I feel like I got it it's too light, so I'm going in with straight yellow and dropping it in to kind of create lighter highlight. And the feathers on birds are, the colorings aren't always perfectly, shaped. So the fact that there's more green over one eye than the other, I don't mind that. I actually kind of like it. I think he's pretty cute. And now I'm deciding what I want to do next. I think I'm getting my bleed proof white out, and I dropped water in my bleed proof white because it was very, very dry. Last time I was using it, and I'm just mixing it off camera right now. Mixing it up really, really good to get it moving, and then I'm going to use my liner brush to get in there and do the bright details around the eyes and get some shine spots and along the beak and the tips of the feathers. Just little dots around the eyes to brighten them up and make them pop a little bit. Bleed proof white is amazing for this. If you lose your whites, which I often do, I don't use masking fluid. I have it. I just don't use it very often. I forget that I even have it. So I do use bleed proof white. I lean on it quite a bit to bring back whites. Another option is any acrylic paint marker, pen, gel pen, colored pencil sometimes will work if you let your paint dry. I found the Prismacolor colored pencil in white to be the best white colored pencil out there. I've tried a lot of them, like a lot. So it is pretty effective over watercolor. What else have I used? Gouache. Gouache is another good standby. Or any acrylic paint that you have. You can just dip your brush in the tip of your white tube of paint and get your highlights back in your watercolors, or anything else actually, but mostly that's what I use it for. Excuse me. And I've had the same 2 containers of bleed proof white since for about I would say 5 years now. They're very slow wearing is the point. Getting some shine spots on his beak, make him kind of pop a little bit. And then I wanted to add a little bit of sparkle, like light shining through the tips of the feathers. So I'm going in with the white on the feathers as well to get little sparkles going around as well. And you can get super carried away with that. But I find it to be pretty effective in adding a bit of sparkle and shine. Once again, still using that little fine liner brush to just get in like little, trying to keep the feather marks, the tiny feather marks. Probably could have used the wedge brush as well, to kind of tap around instead of using this brush in little lines, but either way is effective. And you can see now that the background is dry, that it's pretty nice, little purpley bluish background. Aubergine. It's almost bedtime. It's actually an hour past bedtime. I slept in today because I was very, 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 very tired. There we go. Ooh, the table my foot is on, it just moved. Sorry if that was loud. I'm just finishing up, touching up those little feathers. What do you think? And I'm thinking here now that I should have left a little rim of brown around the eyes. So I'm getting a little bit of my quinacridone rust, just a tiny little bit, and I'm going to rim the eyes with the brown to kind of it adds a little life and a little bit of depth, I think. And then I also am going to put some on the beak to kind of, I don't know, make it feel more real and add a little bit of shadowing where I feel like I lost a bit of it. Yeah, just on the edges to make it look more rounded and to give a little bit of shadow effect and texture. Because most beaks are pretty textured. But there he is. Isn't he cute? For our May calendar, so I'm going to be able to look at him all month. I'm actually finding these calendar paintings to be really fun and have a new painting up for the month every month is fun. I was thinking about getting in here also with a black ink pen and changed my mind. When I started, I was going to do the watercolor, and then instead of using paint for the black dark details, I was going to use an ink pen. And then I changed my mind at the last minute and went in with paint instead. I'm doing little touches of the bleed proof white again. Can't help myself. And then I noticed that I didn't do much on the shoulders, like around the edge of the calendar. So I'm going to go in and touch that up, and then we're going to be pretty done. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Subscribe for more videos if you want to stick around, if you're new. And I will see you guys in the next video. Actually, which will be coming up tomorrow. It's going to be, at some point tomorrow, I'm going to sketch elephants, and that will be both the Patreon part 2 of page 1 of the spread. The elephants are up already, but we'll be drawing elephants tomorrow. If you're interested, you can swing by the channel for that. And here's a little close-up of all the details. I think it looks cute. Yeah. There we go. What do you think? I think it looks pretty good. See you in the next one. Bye.